Isner has made the quarterfinals here before. Raonic has not. He will kick this one off. Mark Woodford and Nick Lester here with you. Raonic back out on this court, having beaten Stan Wawrinka impressively a couple of days ago. He was down a couple of set points in the opening set, was in many ways swimming against the tide for a while, but really did play the big points well to take out the former champion.
59.
It's something we've seen a little bit more of, isn't it, from Raonic this last few weeks? Just willingness to use the slice.
Yeah, that backhand slice is a change of pace. Also provides time for Milos to actually recover back into the point, back to home base.
And it's certainly a shot that Philip Kohlschreiber employed to great effect yesterday in his win over Sasha Zverev.
And another highlight between these two players, Nick, probably in regards to the way men's tennis heading, that there's not, you would think at their height, 6'5" and 6'11", there'd be a bit of serve volley, but not so. They just rely upon landing that first serve. Much more at ease coming forward to net on the first or second shot. It's not the serve and volley these days.
Things have changed a little bit from your day, Mark, of course.
Game, Raonic.
Good strong start from the Canadian.
First game.
Of course, back in the day when you were playing, you'd be able to tell me a lot more, but you look back at the sort of early 90s and it really was dominated by the big servers, wasn't it? This is an era, Mark, at the top of the game that's dominated by the best returners in the sport. Certainly in those, if we're looking at the top 5, top 10.
Yep.
Surfaces to do with that? Strings?
I think strings, the surfaces certainly have slowed down. Would love to see them, you know, just a bit more variety from week to week, to be able to draw upon the contrast of styles.
Wimbledon, having a good chat with Hawkeye this morning. Isner, first serve unreturned, 73%. Perhaps not quite so surprising. Second serve unreturned, 47% in their match at Wimbledon just 6 weeks ago.
Love 13.
Fair to say he's probably going to have to do a little bit more work off the ground today.
Yeah, definitely. And it'd be interesting just to keep an eye on the position of Raonic, where he's returning. Not so much the first serve, because given the velocity and the height at which contact is made from Isner, but on the second serve in particular. That's an area if Isner does start to miss some of those first serve. How Raonic handles the second serve.
15-13.
Certainly had some pace there.
Yeah, and of course the astonishing thing about John's serve is how prolific it is, because Mark and I were discussing off air, he is tour leader pretty much every year in terms of first serve percentage. This year, he's currently sitting at 70% of first serves made. It's a pretty potent combination.
It certainly is, and it's when you get into those tiebreaker scenarios.
15-14.
Problems for him here, though. He's only been broken twice in his opening 3 rounds as Isner here.
Shabby, isn't it? Only measly 2 breaks offered to opponents.
It's rough. That's a tremendous dig from Raonic. He made it very uncomfortable for the big American. And what a fast start he's made.
Raonic leads 2 games to 0, first set.
And key there for Milos to be able to get the return back. And even though he looks up peripherally and he sees the tall American coming forward, it wasn't real panic. They just rolled the 2-hander at the toes of Isner.
So the perfect start.
15-11.
Isner recently relocated to Dallas in Texas. Made the move there just before Wimbledon. And his wife Maddie, who, as John, as Mark says, is expecting their first child imminently.
And there you have it, working his way forward. Off of a miss hit, but still commits to moving forward. No hesitation.
How good are his volleys, Woody? Do you think? I think it's fair to say he's probably not a natural volleyer. Is that it's not being too harsh, is it?
No, I agree. And there's the association with Goran that I think that's an area that they will focus on, have been taking a look at just once he arrives up at net, to be able to cover the necessary angles.
You're obviously one of the best exponents ever in that regard. How difficult is it for someone like Raonic, who it's not particularly natural? What are the keys for him? Is it the transition? Is it the movement? Is it the technical side? Or is it everything?
Well, exactly that. Maybe all of that. But, players, I think, tend to, when they practice their volleys, they'll just arrive at net and practice their volleys. But really, there's so much emphasis on being comfortable moving forward, transitioning with your footwork, taking some little steps, and obviously getting their balance so that then you can maybe launch out to play 1 or 2 volleys.
Let. First service. Game Raonic.
What a start from the Maple Leaf out here. And he's won the opening 3 games. Impressive stuff.
First set.
3-love.
Time. Sit quickly, please.
Team Raonic will be sitting very comfortably after the early exchanges here. He should break early because in the 13 previous sets that these two have played, Milos has actually only broken John twice in those 13 sets prior to this match, so that's a confidence-boosting start.
Like the move very much. Paying attention was the Canadian. Just recognizing that Isner going to play a defensive backhand slice, so the ball can't get by him generally. Moves forward and extracts the error. And there was a slight panic from Isner on that forehand, almost falling into it, taking a big cut at it.
And they're a little subdued. Two more break points. To win a point behind the second serve as well, Isner, so far.
13-14.
And the crowd there, but just a little louder, stronger support there after Isner winning the point.
He was saying in his pre-match interview that he will certainly need to call upon them today.
Yes.
And that's the one thing he has done well, actually, in his career, isn't it? I mean, he comes across, perhaps in the early stages of his career, with this hangdog kind of look, but certainly the last couple of seasons, he's been much more, I think, engaging with the crowd.
Yeah, I'd agree. So that second serve, Raonic seemed like he was back a tad further from where he was in the first game that created the breaker serve. That might be something that he will continually change, just to show something different to Isner. No surprise there. Big man. Some soft hands on the drop shot.
He made the quarterfinals, as we say, here in 2011, did Isner. He's been pretty consistent here at the US Open. Isner actually has a very realistic chance as well of making the NITO ATP finals in London. He's right in the mix for that now. Never made it before, of course, by directly qualifying.
Let's first service.
You consider the first 2 months of the season were very poor, really. Barely won a match in January or February, did John.
Yeah, you'd have to say that the advantage of playing some doubles with Jack Sock, Indian Wells. Was able to sneak through some tight matches there. Just the fact of playing matches rather than just on the practice court, engaging in actual match play. They were victorious at Indian Wells and then struck gold at Miami on the singles court.
49.
It really is one of the most efficient service motions I think I've ever seen, Raonic. I mean, it's just so, well, everything, just the kinetic chain, as we often talk about it, just seems so smooth, doesn't it?
The one oddity about it is, for me, the grip, where he holds the racket just there.
Yep.
Everything else very smooth.
And there's a fair bit else that's smooth out there at the moment for him as well. He's striking the ball well. And he is in good shape in the early stages. 4-1 for the 25th seed.
Time.
Slow start to the season for Raonic. Lost in the first round of Brisbane, Australia. Australian Delray, then really picked things up in Indian Wells. Made the semi-finals there, quarters in Miami. Also had some injury problems over the course of the clay, likewise on the grass. But sustained period of good health.
Certainly key, isn't it, for Milos. I was just saying to you, Nick, that he arrived in Australia late last year after some time off through injury, but just heavy, just out of shape. Had David Ferrer's old coach leading him at that stage.
Where did that come from? It looked like he was going to be beaten.
30.
Should have been beaten. Yes. But there's the long reach of Isner. This is crafty by Milos. Isner, excellent job. And just sticking that racket out. And quite possibly won't hit a better volley for the rest of the match.
Talked up the first serve percentage that is usually high, but today it's a little low.
30-15.
So I'm just wondering if, having highlighted that as well, still does Raonic go for that second break? Is he, you know, keen on the insurance break, or given that his serve is so strong as well, generally one service break with guys like these two, one break is enough, yeah?
Yeah. What would you encourage him to do?
I would be saying the insurance break. Yes, but you know, get the set in your favour.
Well, I guess also, Woody, in many ways, you're chipping away at the guy's best shot, right? I mean, you win so many matches by just dominating you in terms of serve that if you can break a couple of times, you're just getting in his head a little bit, aren't you?
Yeah, well, another closer an opportunity here. Head to 30 all. It's almost 2 points in this game, Nick. I feel like Isner has just greased his way through. And that particular point there, a half volley off of his toes, ball sneaks over the net, as well as that stab reflex volley. Much more traditional there.
Raonic leads 4 games to 2, first set.
And this is a must for both players, to throw in the serve and volley a few times. Not necessarily, you know, going for a high percentage of repeat business there, but it's just to keep the opponent, the returner, honest. Don't let them get away with just chipping, floating the return back into play. Nice way to finish for Isner.
Five from 6 in the forecourt so far. Good start in that department as well. That's where the wide serve comes with a lot of benefits. Isner doesn't get hold of the return, he's in trouble.
Direction of serve, if you're going down to Isner, do you think you'd have a preference? Go to the backhand or the forehand?
I mean, the backhand's weaker, isn't it? I think it's fair to say, and that's actually, if again, we're looking through some of his service patterns here, the wide serve on the ad certainly is the one he tends to go to a little bit more.
40-11.
Got to factor in opposition as well. It depends a little bit on who you're playing. And he's played Simon, Burlock and Wawrinka, so he's actually played 3 very different styles of players, hasn't he?
He has. Was calling that first round match against Burlock, played on court 5. Something a little different for Raonic to be out on court 5. Yeah. A lot happening with courts adjacent to 4 and 6.
Well, when he starts to win points like that, you know you got trouble. What a confident opening this is.
Raonic leads 5 games to 2. First set.
5-2 to the good. That really is a sign of how he's feeling right now, isn't it?
Without a doubt, and we're talking about a few more backhand slices by him, but if he's reverting back to the two-hander, he has to be in such almost perfect position to have the contact point, backhand slice. Sometimes there's just that extra breathing space. Nice movement there on his toes. There it is.
I mean, I think it's fair to say it's not the most aesthetically pleasing of shots, isn't it? But boy, was it effective. He's got such an enormous wingspan, and he's got such big swings, isn't he, as well?
A bit more substance to his game, depth.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with John Isner's game, but you know, perhaps a variety to his game, but on the surfaces. Although Isner, you know, I think he could place some stronger results on the clay courts in devastating fashion with that serve working on the clay against some of the baseliners. trying to elongate the points. Isner keeps them very short.
So, John Isner, by dint of that early break, serving to stay in this opening set at 2-5.
Round 15.
And of course, when you're cruising along on your serve, just provides the opportunity when you're returning serve to try shots like that, and that helped by the movement. Nice and easy from Raonic.
We've played 28 minutes and Raonic has hit one unforced error so far. Now I appreciate the points are pretty short, so the opportunities to hit unforced errors aren't that long, but still, that is a clean card.
Thirteen, 15.
More returns coming back over. And Isner stepping up to serve. And yes, maybe not serving to the standard, the levels that he's shown in the tournament so far, but seems to be playing a whole lot of tennis on his serve, Isner.
Outstanding defects from the Canadian.
Brilliant backhand up the line there. And Isner perhaps moving over to the ad court there. Traditionally, Raonic's forehand goes in that off direction when he's on the attack. Just holding on it nicely. Confusing Isner.
Yes.
Game this one, isn't it? He wants to ensure that even if he doesn't break in the next game, he can just start set number 2. Trying to apply a bit of scoreboard pressure, something which he hasn't been able to do so far.
Advantage, Raonic.
Point.
So talking about how many times Raonic has made the return. Got the point started on the 2 break points that he's had in this game. Unable to get the point started.
That's a good dig. And Isner is able to hold on and will force Raonic to serve at the set. That's a great volley. He has been seriously impressive up there so far.
So he gets into a very good tuck position behind the forehand approach. Arrives, makes sure that he's balanced.
The court so well, hasn't he?
And not an easy forehand to finish that last point. I think in times gone past, maybe even in the first round when watching him play against Berlot, he might have rushed that, see an opening and try to generate plenty of pace, but he took his time. Well, I was ready to say again, taking his time nicely, Raonic on the forehand. He's gone to a big target here, and that is just too good. Don't think that we'll see that particular backhand from Isner too often in this match.
Yeah, if you're Raonic, in many ways, you're quite happy for him just to try and hit those all day long, aren't you?
14-15.
The reprieve was rather short-lived. 2 more set points. What a set that was, really, from first ball to last. Mightily impressive show. 4th round of the major, and interestingly enough, if he were to win today, he would become the 12th active player to reach the last 8 at all 4 majors. That would be a nice club to be a part of. If he continues the way he is right now,
Second set.
it's going to be tough to stop.
Isner to serve. Last 15.
Seeing the ball so early. That was an excellent first volley, because there was just a moment of hesitation, wasn't there?
Yeah, not a bad point for Raonic. He's have that sense that John Isner is a bit more of a fuel volley. He's not someone that comes in and punches that first volley. Quite often gives you a bit of a second look at a passing shot.
13-15.
From Isner's perspective, at the end of the set, is he looking to do anything different? I mean, obviously a lot of serves are coming back into play, Mark, aren't they? Is that in his head somewhere, or is he patterns need to change at all?
I think you know, he's aware that didn't land enough first serves. A lot of pressure, or more pressure on the second serve,
14,
and they were coming back.
Isner, when he did make the final quarters in 11 here, lost to Andy Murray, you remember. You may remember, in a close one. 7-6 in the 4th that day. It was a high-quality match. travels with a big team. A chiropractor is one of his good friends, travels with him a lot of the throughout the course of the season, make sure the 6'10" frame is in good shape. Excellent start. Much needed opening hold.
First game, second set.
Haven't had a winner from the Stars and Stripes since Andy Roddick here. Full stop at the majors as well. I remember, of course, in singles.
Raonic being the, John Isner being the lone American that's the highest ranked American for a number of seasons now.
Yeah. Because Jack Sock sneaked into the top 10, didn't he, last year for a short while? Is it a disappointing season as Jack in singles?
More energy there from Isner, taking that first game of the second set. It's a big forehand going in the off direction, trying to pump himself and again draw upon the crowd to elevate himself up higher.
Now this is an excellent start. Hasn't really had a sniff on the Raonic serve until now.
Gee, that's a quality return. Reflex just absorbing the pace. Some height. And in he comes.
Something to work with. Suddenly, Isner started to make a few returns. I mean, that wasn't the prettiest strike, was it? But at love 30.
Off of a 133 miles per hour. Did an excellent job just to get the ball back in, really out of obligation. And a quick snatch right at the forehand side of Raonic.
Raonic has been broken 3 times in this tournament. Will be number 4 for now.
We just had a quick look at the coach's box, a replay of this point. Taking his time there as well on this short forehand, Milos. There we go. They've changed seats.
You're right. Good shout, Mark.
David McPherson and Gimmelstow.
Let. First service.
He's done so well to fashion a return there. What a great attitude this guy's got. And he's firing up the home crowd again. It's an early break.
Isner leads 2 games to love.
Again, not an easy ball to return. He's extended almost at full range there. And it's the pressure that's just built up there. Once more, Milos pulling the trigger, going for something a little too fine.
15 all.
So the last few games there, Nick, not as much volume for Isner to play. The returns, the frequency coming back over, not as much as they were in the early stages of set number 1. And if they are coming over, they're a little shorter. They're allowing Isner to take charge of the point.
Can I keep the ball?
I would.
Exactly.
But maybe exchange it for a same seat next year
Yeah,
on the same day.
Definitely. It's been an excellent response because Raonic really was roaring in the opening set, but Isner has bounced back nicely here. 3-love.
Second set. First set, Raonic. Time.
America's finest here in terms of the world rankings. Just outside the top 10, of course, at the moment. Number 11 in the world is a 33-year-old. Mentioned his position in the race this season. He's number 9 as things stand.
Love 15.
This is just a complete turnaround here.
Well, I mean, he's on his toes, jumping around, and the crowd as well, coming alive. So a big wave right now that Isner is enjoying.
A lot of credit must go to Casey Curtis, the man who honed Raonic's serve in the early days. He was the man who looked after his game from a technical standpoint when he was in his developmental stage.
14-15.
Always been a guy who's liked a lot of voices around him, hasn't he, Milos?
He's had a few of them over time, hasn't he?
With so many different coaches.
Again, Raonic.
Exceptionally analytical
Isner leads
individual.
3-1, second set.
He comes from a very academic family as well. All set when he was 18 to go to college. The plan was for him to do that, and then of course they decided to change tack and turn pro. Has he had too much input sometimes, Mark? Do you think, if that is possible?
That would be my general assessment, that you know, too many cooks there. I think it's just a matter of trusting himself, and you know, that message that comes across from one individual. Have much respect, deep respect for all that have appeared alongside of Milos.
15-all.
One thing, obviously, the first serve facilitates is generally his ability to get a forehand in initially off the serve, isn't it? And that's something that was a perfect illustration in that rally.
And the awareness that if perhaps Raonic is using that backhand slice too often, that it can't necessarily beat him. So why not go forward and quickly force a quick grip change by Raonic as well.
Sure.
Very different grip from the slice to the two-hander where he has to come over it.
Game Isner.
That's another good game for the man who's looking to reach the quarterfinals here for the second time in his career.
Isner leads 4-1, second set.
Enjoys a 4-1 lead in this second.
Time.
1-4. Shift the momentum here, perhaps.
And a nice preparation, making sure that he gets to the ball. A couple of options on that forehand.
13-11.
Well, I guess you saw that one relatively early.
Interesting as well. Didn't quite have the accuracy, did it either? I mean, you're being picky because it's still a sensational return, but different story in set number 2, it really is.
That's it.
I mean, what is going on there? Even he can't believe it. Benoit Paire just turned up there, didn't he?
Well, he didn't get it to bounce back over the net.
True.
Only give him an 8.
Some shot. This is really impressive. And again, as you highlighted, Mark, he's just picking the slice a little earlier now, isn't he?
And the momentum, he's the one that's starting to make the returns back into play. So there's volume for Isner when he's returning. Really good movement and acceleration through the forehand.
Tough pass to make, wasn't it? Chose to go up the line, which was probably the tougher option, but good approach, wasn't it?
Not a bad approach. It seemed like there was an opening going cross court off the forehand.
Advantage, Raonic.
Excellent body serve, bails him out of that game.
Isner leads 4 games to 2. Second set.
Reaction by Isner on that last serve. Still catching the ball relatively early. Even though it was into the body.
He's showcasing some skills that we're not used to seeing from him week in, week out right here.
Oh, it's a fair old return. Some pace.
It was like something like your era, Mark.
I'm not sure that I would have even attempted something. Probably would have tried to get it deep into the corner. Take up a stronger position at net. It's just superb by Isner. Again, that joy of a service break ahead.
30 left.
I have to say that early break in this set has given him such a, as you say, a lift. There's much more footwork. There's more energy to what he's doing. He's just been able to hit more and more forehands.
Oh, not being put off by losing the first set either. Just a lot of credit to Raonic in the first, and he has rebounded big time, Isner.
Hasn't he just? But he is good from the 11th seed, who's up 5-2 now and threatening to draw level.
First set, Raonic. Time.
Well, when this match was on the card today, a lot of people would have looked at this and gone, "There not been too many returns made, and this one is going to be very serve dominated." But actually, to be honest, Mark, it's been very enjoyable, isn't it?
It's been more return dominated because it's something where obviously we're prepared for the serves, but both fellas out here, first set Raonic making a lot of returns back into play. Very competitive in not just one service game that he broke, but a couple of others. And the same for Isner. Some of the best tennis that I've seen from him in this set. Very relaxed, and the positivity just starting to ooze out. And of course the crowd very much engaged to see Isner.
I wasn't even just apologising, of course, because the serve clock has run down. But I think Damien Dumassoir has been sensible here and just made a mistake. He didn't realise it was time to change the racket. So good umpiring that. No need to do anything silly.
15 love.
Just to emphasise that, numbers really do bear out the quality. 40 winners we've had overall. Now, when you consider we've had 13 aces between the pair, obviously a fair few unreturned as well, but the winners to unforced errors ratio is very much in the positive from the winners.
Mr. Isner is hitting the ball on the right center service line. The ball was called in.
Certainly looked good, flush on the line.
13 love.
Reaction swinging away.
Mr. Isner has 2 challenges
Service. It's
remaining.
one thing for that serve to have width, but it's another to have the amount of turn on it it has, isn't it? I mean, even if you're kind of reading it, it's still moving so quickly away from you.
Necessitates almost an early anticipation.
Game, Raonic.
Well, that was a little more in keeping with what we expected in this match.
Isner leads 5 games to 3.
So the difference there, you would see that Isner, before new balls come out, changes the racket. Isner just waiting for completion of his service game for a freshly strung racket.
Isner serving to grab this second set. Just to emphasise what we were talking about, Mark. In this second set, Isner, first shot off the serve, 100% of the time has been a forehand.
Coinciding with the increase of landing first serves, so contrast to the first set. It's a bit more of a defensive return coming from Raonic today, probably in general from whoever the opponent is.
14.
Very clean from Isner. And there's 2 set points. Some set of tennis that was in response to the quality from Raonic of the first. Isner matches it in the second. And we're all square here on Louis Armstrong at a set of picks.
1 set up.
Milos Raonic has taken leave of the court for the moment. Maybe a change of clothes or whatever it may be. Seems to be the kind of done thing these days, isn't it? It didn't happen in your day, Woody, did it? Or did it?
Not too often at all. I think the only 10-minute break that was around in the early stages of my career was when Davis Cup had that opportunity at 2-1 as well. You can go off for a 10-minute break, but a little more license at particular tournaments. Maybe Indianapolis, Washington DC, two events that spring to mind that maybe the supervisors and the chair umpires were just provided that opportunity for players to take their time in between games, change events. It's like that 7th inning stretch almost for
yes, that's right.
some of these fans.
Exactly. A good day here, of course. We had a victory for Dominic Thiem earlier on into the quarterfinals here for the first time. He beat Kevin Anderson, last year's runner-up. We had the victory for Karolina Pliskova.
And there you have him also carrying a different pair of shoes. Given the conditions that we experience, players changing their footwear as well, rather than squelching, leaving drops of sweat around the baseline.
Raonic to serve.
Third set, Raonic to begin.
Love 15.
So seeing the ball nice and early on that return, making sure he goes out to it, not letting the ball jam him into the body. That's what Raonic was searching for.
15 on.
Is a remarkable volley.
30-15.
Volley of the tournament so far for Milos.
I mean, that's a joke.
Great improvisation there on the volley.
14-15. That's it. Game, Raonic.
Well, there's been early breaks in both the first and the second set. Raonic
First game,
avoids
third
that
set.
fate here in the third.
So basically just that one service game. In set one, we saw Raonic having a few bites on the return of Isner's serve. Just went through on that one break of serve. Isner rebounding in set number 2.
Love 15.
Almost kind of a lack of pace on the return there, kind of doing the undoing for Isner. Quite make the adjustment.
All. T15.
Floating return, not a lot of pace, so Isner makes sure that he gets behind the ball, loads up well.
He took out Marty Fish in the corner there.
$14-15.
So be interested to see if there's any change from Raonic in his court position. Again, fairly deep to return first and second serves. Isner is a bit more closer to the baseline. So Raonic staying in the same position as he did for the first serve.
Game, Isner.
So good, strong early hold.
Third set.
The big American. He's college tennis, of course, in Georgia. NCAA standout before making a rather swift and quick transition to the highest level a few years ago now. You're an advocate, Woody, of the college system as a pathway to professional tennis. I mean, obviously it's going to get you a good degree, but do you see it as a good pathway if you want to become a professional tennis player still?
15-all.
I don't think it was a number of years ago. I think it's coming back into to vogue, to adverse to it. Certainly when I was starting to make my way, transitioning out of high school, completed my education and had the option, it was probably termed as not the pathway for, certainly for Australians. You maybe just get over to Europe, start educating yourself on different surfaces. But I certainly believe now that it is an excellent option for players.
Yes.
Of course, we've got a fair few in the top 100 now. Cam Norrie, Kevin Anderson, of course, John Isner, three of note.
And quality of coaches, maybe at a collegiate level, has improved. Just providing the time for players, a little raw when they enter college level. At 4 years, being able to improve, work on their game.
Tennis Sangren, another, wasn't he? Went to college, played a couple of years at Tennessee, to Sangren. Mackenzie McDonald, good example as well. Tends to be the very elite, though, doesn't it, at college that make the breakthrough. It's, you know, when you look at the players that have done well, it's those very best college players that have been able to find their way to the top of the professional ladder.
2 games to 1.
2-1.
Third set,
Yeah,
1
third.
set all. Time.
Nicholas from Mark Woodford here with you over on the Louis Armstrong Stadium. Of course, the stadium that was reopened, having been completely given a facelift this year. Really impressive new structure. John Isner serving 1-2. Just settled into a little serve pattern here, haven't we?
Yeah, but this set might be dominated by, you know, the serves. Not at this early stage, not as many returns being sent back over. You'd be surprised to see that tiebreaker come into contention.
I almost feel with these two that an early break actually is a way of ensuring the quality of tennis is a little higher, because it just relaxes one of the players, isn't it? So therefore you get a slightly better brand, that's the wrong word, but you get a more open, I think is the better way.
I agree. Pace a shot there.
49.
The Isner forehand, very strong. A lot of head nodding going on from the coach's box.
Lovely bit of skill again. Tremendous feel. And it's 2 apiece.
Third set.
You probably have to think, Isner at this stage of his career right now, playing with about as much confidence as he probably ever has done.
There's some, I hate to say whether it's describe it as simplicity of his game, but just that shortness of points played, and yet he is involved in 2 of the longest matches in our sport.
Yeah. So desperate to find the backhand in that situation. Squeeze for space. Talk about, of course, the serve, but in terms of return numbers this season, Isner only winning 10% of return games, which puts him last on the list on tour.
Contrast to sending down his 10,000 ace.
Yeah.
One of 4 gentlemen to have achieved that feat.
And of course, the interesting thing with that is, in many ways, to actually break it down, isn't it, to your sort of average aces per match, because a lot depends on how many matches you go. Federer's served 10,600, but he's played 1,300 matches, so obviously there's a few more in the mix there. Isner, for example, as Woody was just saying, 10,617 matches, aces, but he's only played 590 matches. So
half,
yeah,
the amount of, less than half on Federer.
Game Raonic.
Couple of love games for both gentlemen.
Third set, 1-set up.
So on serve we stay here, 3-2. Serve-dominated third set so far here on Labor Day weekend, playing for a spot in the quarterfinals. Rafael Nadal already through. First time Nadal's made the quarterfinals of all 4 majors in a single season since 2011. Consistent year it's been for him.
Flat. First service.
Milos Basilashvili gave him a fair bit to be concerned about today, didn't he? Especially in his sets 3 and 4.
Yeah, both coming off of tough 4-set victories in the previous round. Maybe something that Rafa shoulder. Basilashvili has kind of been thrust into this latter stages of the draw. First time.
8-11.
That's number 13. What he was mentioning is over 10,000 aces. He's averaging about 17 aces per match. Plus, you've got to remember the vast majority of his matches are over the best of 3.
3 games on, third set.
6 quick holds here. Early sparring out of the way in this set now. That was surprising. He was on it.
So if I was up the other end, John Isner kind of thinking to make him play on the opportunity on this next point. Raonic is up at net. Just give him a ball to play the volley. It certainly was something that he should have got racket onto. Once you arrive at net there, you've got to be comfortable, confident. Any doubt on a volley, best to hit it.
He's
got hold of a very fine return.
And it's just 1 point, really, if that either player can lose focus on their serve. Certainly both were in tremendous rhythm for 6 games on serve.
What a massive opportunity this is. It's been a poor game from Raonic, isn't it? 2 errors. There's a couple of good returns, but he's left the door somewhat open.
Another one of these games, Nick, that Isner's done brilliantly in getting the ball back into play. Starting the point off.
The break goes the way of the American. Well, the volume levels increase significantly inside the Louis Armstrong Stadium because Isner now is in good shape in this third set. He's got the break to lead 4-3.
4 games to 3, third set, 1 set all. Time.
First move then made by this man in this third set. His life's about to change from a personal point of view. As we said, with the impending birth of his first child. And wife Maddie, not sure what the joke's about here. Duna Suarez enjoying it. New balls, obviously.
Yep. I think Isner just, as he prepared to serve there, showing them, and Milos this time, the one that forgot, probably dealing with the fact that what a miserable game that last serving game was.
He's only lost to 1 point in this set on serve to this point. Lost a bit of confidence, isn't he, off the ground, Raonic?
And in that last game as well, with the points that he was losing, just a few extra glances across to that box.
That has been a very useful play for Isner.
So of course we know that the first serve pace, it's big, and the second serve, Raonic giving himself plenty of room to turn serve, but he's not closing the court back after making the return, and that just provides the opportunity for Isner to try those drop shots.
The ball was called out. Mr. Isner has 2 challenges remaining.
Even the court position strong by Isner in these rally modes. Very rarely is being pushed back. Playing a lot of those rallies from just behind the baseline.
He is pretty well rested coming into this tournament because he didn't actually play a lot of tennis leading in. Lost first run of Cincy. Didn't really have any success in Canada or Washington. Yes, he won in Atlanta, but that was 5 weeks ago now. So I guess on one side of the coin you could argue confidence coming into this event might have been a little bit lower, but the freshness was there.
And surprising, because he usually does fire up on the North American swing, doesn't he? That, if you look back at the bulk of his, well, a substantial amount of his ranking is behind the tournaments here in the US.
It's fair to say as well, and you could probably say the same about both guys, but Isner's one of those guys that if the courts are a little bit slower this year, I think it benefits him, doesn't it? It just gives him a little bit more time. He can serve through anything, right? So from that perspective, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
14 left.
I feel like it just gives him a little bit more time. The ball's coming up a little bit higher, obviously, so it's, I don't know if you agree, in the strike zone a little more, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I do. I think that's pertinent, that it just provides him that opportunity to stay alive in the points.
Unable to stay alive in that game, but nonetheless, it's Isner that will serve for a 2-1 lead.
Time.
So, the one break coming midway through this third set has allowed Isner this opportunity to serve it out. Reminder, in this third set, Isner's just lost 2 points on his own deal.
So I don't know if I'm looking for something that maybe is not there, but certainly if you've only won 2 points, you're the returner. You've only won 2 points in this set. That means there's time for a change. It looked like that Milos was certainly closer to the baseline to return that second serve. Another opportunity here. See if you can get some velocity, see the ball early enough. And again, from the height that serve comes, Isner jumping up. It's very difficult to come over the two-handed backhand if it's up around shoulder height.
Very uncomfortable. Well, he outthought him there, didn't he? You could see Raonic was just looking and leaning towards the left, understandably so, perhaps trying to protect the backhand, and Isner was one step ahead.
virtually obligated to find the first serve, missing the first 3 first serves in this game.
Two set points. A simply outstanding serving display from John Isner, whose knot tells you all you need to know. 141 miles an hour. It's the American that is a set away from the last 8.
2 sets to 1.
balls to serve.
Nick Lester and Mark Woodford here with you as we get ready for set number 4.
Time.
John Isner taking a very lengthy break, Mark, wasn't it?
Extremely long. You know, there are facilities here at Armstrong that old stadium. Now it's a new stadium, but I just don't understand the length of time to change shirt and shorts. Out there practicing his serve, just trying to stay loose.
Yep, sensible move.
It's all about time now, you know, time in between points. Time 1-5-1 that's been brought in, and heavens, are we headed to where they're being monitored on the when they change their attire after the set?
Finding himself in a position of having to win the next couple of sets.
Love 15.
Well, good thing for him is not less than 2 hours of tennis. You would think that relatively quick points as well. There's plenty of left in that tank for the Canadian.
Yeah, he's actually played 20 matches in his career where he's found himself in this position, down 2 sets to 1. Want to hazard a guess as to how many he's won of those 20? Without looking at my computer.
I'm trying not to look over there.
You're allowed,
but I would say less than 50%.
Yeah, 7. He's won 7 of the 20 matches. He's been down 2 sets to 1.
13-15.
Just looks visually that it's certainly there that he 2 sets to 1 down, that he hasn't shaken off that he's in deficit right now. Milos, need to see some improved body language in between points. A good hit.
Well, he fashioned a return by hook or by crook, and he was able to get himself some time here.
Certainly was, and for Milos, took his time there, but that's where understanding court position, after you've exposed yourself, you've got to try and cover as much as you can. You can't cover every angle, but he hovered from where he hit the ball, and there was so much territory for Isner to make the pass.
We see it a lot, don't we, in that position. That inside-in approach is a dangerous one, isn't it? You do leave yourself, as you say, having to cover a fair bit of court.
Raonic. First game, 4th set.
Strong hold. Canadian.
Canada playing against Holland, I believe, in the next round of Davis Cup.
Yeah, that's right.
Team that provides a real opportunity to go deep in the competition. Certainly changing next year, the Davis Cup format, but Canada, you would think, with a couple of youngsters that have arrived on the scene, and if Raonic is part of that team along with Vasek Pospisil.
Danny Nestor having just about to retire. He may have officially retired after this tournament. Maybe playing one more. In fact, he's playing the Davis Cup, isn't he? That's going to be his last tournament. The Davis Cup playoff, as you say. Problems here for Isner. See the frustration that he's feeling.
Net, first service.
He couldn't fend him off. And Raonic on the early charge here.
And anticipating this serve wide. Was out there with enough time. He didn't overplay the two backhand passes. The one backhand pass up the middle. And by the forehand with footwork.
It was a big wide serve, wasn't it, as well, from Isner? First serve made in this game. Oh, yes! Well, a couple of occasions Isner's looked to serve and volley in the game and has failed to land the required blow. It's 2-love.
And really out of nowhere. Talking about as they changed ends of the first game, desire to see some improved body language by Raonic, and break serve to love.
That was a timely boost, wasn't it? Because it's been fairly subdued for the last couple of sets. I think he's not there. Opting to go with the slice. Thought his man was coming forwards because that was a fairly timid one. Turn just not up to scratch. Too short, given the treatment. It's an excellent game, and this roller coaster of a match has just taken another sizable
2 sets to 1.
shift in direction. It's 3-love for the Canadian.
Time.
Isner finding himself down love 3 in this 4th set.
15-love.
Well, it was certainly one of his best returns of the day, but Isner was after the drop shot very early.
Game, Isner.
That's a little more like it. Order restored. Isner shakes his head. He knows he's got himself in a bit of a hole here.
4th set.
Raonic will serve at 3-1. Crowds, of course, in that transitional phase. Arthur Ashe, as day sessions finished, the night session are coming in. This is the place to be right now. There's a singles match going on grandstand as well.
Throngs of people around this weekend.
That was a little cheap. Didn't really need to be that close to the line, did it either?
No, think a big target and even just a couple of moves behind, take the pace off, even drift to net.
That's outstanding. Tremendous vision.
Just flowing nicely now for Raonic. A new shirt It's almost like a return of Milos from set number 1. You see the rotation of the ball once it hit the surface, just cutting away.
Raonic.
Yeah, he's got his swagger back of that, there's no doubt. The lift came early in this setup, which was much needed. And it's Raonic ahead 4-1, as we seemingly head for a 5th. Makes his way back out. With work to do to avoid going to a 5th set for a 2nd time at these championships. Of course, he beat Nicholas Jarry in the 2nd round in 5.
Allow 15.
Never a good sign, is it, to Nick, when ball starts to shank off of the frame. Back-to-back forehands. Just unnerving. You start to think, you know, am I into position? Am I accelerating through the ball?
Isner has yet to win a point on his 2nd serve in this 4th set.
They may have to change seats again. A little more quiet from the coach's box.
That would have been something pretty special. A little grimace. Certainly looked like it. And Isner somewhat hanging on in this 4th set, under a fair degree of pressure, having been broken early. Very deep to return the 2nd serve there, wasn't he, Raonic?
still the variation. Raonic changing it up. Helped being a little closer to pick up the service break in this fourth set.
And at the back in the blue there, Davide Sanguinetti. He's helping Milos this week. Former Italian player. It's a good ball. That's a tremendous strike.
New balls, please.
Not easy off a ball, sticking in that low, but Isner holds on and closes the gap.
Raonic leads 4-2. Fourth set.
Certainly was an excellent forehand. The backhand had some zizz from Raonic. Was able to get some body weight into it, shoulder lean.
Really good atmosphere inside the Louis Armstrong right now. These two have never played a 5-set match against one another. They've never actually played a match that hasn't involved a tie-break, which could well tell you a little bit about the surface this week. Read your own conclusions or make your own conclusions into that, but
Thank you.
it doesn't matter. Raonic serving 4-2.
15
And the feature really, Woody, has been the breaks have come early in each set, haven't they, for the most part?
They have, and been not making as many serves. We talking about their high percentage of first serves into play and the win rate.
30.
It's been the amount of returns made by both players to help engineer that break.
Quality serving.
14.
And the person that has picked up that early service break has finished the set with ease. It's comfortable service holds.
Game, Raonic.
Yeah, they have been able to shut the gates and keep the opportunities to a bare minimum. Raonic closing in on this fourth set. He leads 5-2.
Time.
We were mentioning Milos Raonic's comebacks from 2 sets to 1 down. He's done it on 7 occasions. The most famous one, of course, being at Wimbledon when he beat Roger Federer from that position in the round of 16. Semi-finals, excuse me, of course it was. Threatening to draw level here. Isner serving 2-5.
15 left.
Third time from this end. And he's been foot faulted. some half volley.
Just relying upon his reaction. Making sure the racket gets down there, just absorbing the pace. Swiftly moving to 40 love.
Clinical serving. This has been a little bit more of what we expected coming into this match. Returns at a premium. It's been the one break that has been enough in each of the first 3 sets. David McPherson watching his charge. He must break.
Please.
Oh yes, what a wonderful approach. You got a little lucky, but fortune favoured the brave there.
Certainly was, and just coming in, asking the question, the great depth, the ball staying nice and low. And hard to get by. Man of his reach. Wingspan.
Raonic didn't fancy that one, did he? That was a little closer than I thought he might have been. He lost the 4 points in total in this 4th set on serve.
Did awfully well. Raonic responding to the return of serve. Going to that small target once again.
Never really felt he was set, did you, either? The ball was kind of chasing him a little bit. Certainly a tough proposition. Serve and volley there, I think. That was not a pretty looking shot. Raonic almost grinding away from the back of the court and getting himself in all sorts of trouble.
Was never looked like that Raonic was trying to be proactive in that rally. Just waiting for Isner to react off of his shots. Put himself in a hole.
Isner 2 from 5 on the break points today. Where did that come from? Staggering stuff from Milos Raonic.
Well, not just the backhand pass, Nick, but this forehand, to be able to hang on to that shot. And not a lot of opening there. Have a look at that balance.
The volume being turned up another notch here inside the Louis Armstrong.
Thank you, players are ready.
Break point number 2. It's done very well indeed. Because Isner was able to find the backhand. That was the first rule of thumb, wasn't it, off the return?
Out of obligation, get the ball back into play. Almost wrong-footed with the forehand, having to strike it off balance.
That's a little late, isn't it?
The ball was called.
It certainly looked late. Well, to the naked eye, certainly the ball had gone long, and then the finger was sent up.
Well, it matters not now, but Duma Soir perhaps just a little lenient. The upshot, as we've got set point. What a brilliant effort from Milos Raonic, who ensures this will have a 5th and final set here on Louis Armstrong. The Canadian draws level at 2 sets apiece.
2 sets on.
So, more drama here on the Louis Armstrong because Milos Raonic, you may just have heard, is going to be receiving a medical timeout. And Woody, you just overheard the conversation, I think, earlier, and some sort of spasm, I believe.
Yeah, exactly. In conversation with Clay, the ATP trainer, just saying that when he went to step up, push off, a few spasms, whether that was happening in the last change of ends. Assessment period went on, and now for the treatment of 2 minutes.
Wayne McEwen there as well. He's overseeing this situation. So he probably should bring out the 5-set records at this stage of the match. I can tell you that Isner has not got a great 5-set record. Of course, there was a period where he really struggled in these longer matches. He's 10 and 18 on his career, including the one here. He, of course, had of a Nicholas Jarry. On the other hand, Raonic, surprisingly perhaps, has only played 15 5-set matches over the course of his career. He hasn't played one since Wimbledon last year. Looks like Clay has worked his magic. Well, Raonic will certainly hope so. Just asking. Okay, so heard that. Clay's going to hang around.
Possibly a little extra work on the next change of ends.
Yeah, of course, the official rule there is that, of course, once you've had the medical time, you can have 2 more treatments, I believe. I think that's right, Woody, isn't it? During the change of ends. So all to play for here in this 5th and final set. A spot in the quarterfinals up for grabs.
Thank you. Out. 15.
Who's winning this one?
Still going to hedge my original choice of Isner. The closer it gets, the more atmospheric crowd support.
You've got to think that the home crowd's worth a point or two here,
Oh,
haven't you?
yeah.
You play many five-setters, Woody, when you're at home?
Not enough of them at home. Played a good majority of them away.
Key obviously will be, first serve percentage will be critical in this decider, one would imagine.
Just see Raonic going back deeper to return this serve.
Paid dividends, doesn't it, there?
It's not trying to, with that court position, you're not trying to get the ball on top of the bounce.
Serving at 40-30. It's the big American. With roots in North Carolina. That is the good counterplay to the deep position off the return. Excellent first volley. That's a good hold.
Final set.
Little edge as well, perhaps getting that first game in the vital fifth set. You can hear the crowd on the change of ends. Obviously, they're going to get more involved regardless of who's out there, but because it's the American. Pressure now on the Canadian.
Thank you. Let first service.
Raonic's ranking, win or lose today, will be once again inside the top 20. He'll be around about the 15 mark.
Let second service.
Oh, brilliant pass off his weaker wing.
Love 15.
to the short ball up the middle of the court. In comes Raonic. Doesn't really get that much weight of shot. Not a lot of direction either. Ask the question, but still has to make it. Isner.
What a good move forwards that was. It completely changed the dynamic of the rally, didn't it, from Raonic's perspective?
And within a blink of an eye in that point, going from defense into offense.
Raonic thinking of perhaps just slicing the ball back down the middle. Suddenly, that option was taken away from him.
Yes.
What a sensational return.
Now 40.
And a fair few of them inside the Louis Armstrong are out of their seats.
It just provides a buffer now, doesn't it? At love 43 opportunities. I think that maybe if he gets the ball back in, he can have the luxury
Please.
of having a solid strike.
Couldn't quite get enough elevation on the lob, could he?
Big thumbs up though after the first serve. 128 miles per hour. Once again, Isner able to get the ball back over.
Hasn't had much success with that slider wide in this game, has he? On this Jude's side.
30, 40.
That was an opportunity for the American, wasn't it?
Clearly looking for the body. Yeah, just outside of that, within strike range of Isner.
He was right on it there. Where does he go? One of the biggest points of the match so far.
Thank you.
Again, choice here for Raonic. Does he try and kick it out wide, get Isner off the court?
It could prove to be a catastrophic double fault. It may be early in the fifth, but that is a massive boost for the American #1.
Pressure just building up there. It looked like a quick swing from Raonic. There wasn't that slight pause, knee bend over the top of it and into the net.
Interestingly, in that game, he made 4 of the 6 first serves as well, so it wasn't as though he gave Isner a whole lot to work with. An adrenaline rush evident with that first serve. Monstrous delivery. Edges him ahead in the ace race as well, 18-17. What a game this is. Hammering home the advantage. Rubbing salt in the wounds of the Canadian right now. All 4 first serves landed in the game. The American fired up. Understandably, he leads 3-love in the fifth.
Isner leads 3-11, final set. Time.
Damien Dumassois at the change of ends in the chair, just warning John Isner about any kind of potential coaching that might be going on. Isner batting it back, saying there was nothing of the sort that was happening in a kind manner. Soft warning. Raonic, love 3.
15 left.
From Raonic's perspective in this situation, Woody, is he just thinking one point at a time? Just rebuild?
It certainly is. The hold serve, it's just got to stay within touch, close proximity.
Plenty of bite on that slice. Interesting that he has served to the forehand as much as he has. Obviously looking perhaps to try and open the court up for himself, isn't he? But again, it is the better return of Isner. It's undeniable. Well, that was a pretty good backhand.
30-15.
Well, full credit to Isner today. He's remained firm with his court position, returning serve, making contact, and was just landing inside the baseline. Some solid returns going back.
14-15.
Took a bit of pace off there. You can see just 118 miles an hour. Just forced Isner to slightly mistime the ball.
It's one of those backhands, Nick, that throughout today's match, we've seen predominant backhand slices on that type of a backhand from Milos. Trying to drive it up the line, not quite balanced enough.
Game run.
So he's on the board in this third set. In this fifth set, excuse me. Taking a very deep position to return this serve.
15.
It's a quality return. Don't deny that.
Yes, I'm trying to think back to the times that he has broken. I think he's won the opening point with similar returns, just being able to get it low. The oncoming Isner.
Just saw him out of the corner of his eye there, didn't he? You just got the sense. So it'll be interesting to see what he does here as well.
Brave play by Isner.
15 all.
Moving forward behind the second serve. And the first volley not struck with a lot of confidence. It was almost a push into the open court. We're surprised to see it go as deep as it did. But ready for the next volley.
Good movement off the ball, wasn't it? Good anticipation.
Missed both serves to open this game.
David McPherson has talked a lot about how he wants Isner to play. Feels like he can get him playing in the right way, being proactive on the court, taking his opportunities, seizing on anything short.
At this critical juncture as well, even more so.
He just couldn't get a full hit on the ball.
40-15.
Just had the wrong grip there.
Yeah.
Not sure whether he could have done anyway, but
it just is for forcing the action there. You know, asking the question. You know, if you can come up with those incredible passing shots, then maybe pull back from coming forward. That's a solid game.
Yeah, really. Not often you see Isner play a full game of serve and volley, but it worked a trick. The American in command at 4-1 in the fifth.
4-1. Final set. Time.
Deep in this fifth and final set then here on the Louis Armstrong Stadium. It's John Isner with the initiative. The night session about to get underway on the Arthur Ashe Stadium. Got tennis over there this evening. We've got Stevens and Mertens first up, and then Del Potro and Chorich will be rounding off the action under the lights here on Sunday night. Nick Lester alongside Mark Woodford here. Sizable task in front of this man. He's serving at 1-4.
Liking it. And you were saying earlier, Nick, about David McPherson's instructions or desire for Isner to be searching to proactive tennis, playing a very positive manner. And when you're in a vital fifth set, You know, using your size, just blanketing the net.
What a return, a serve.
Love 30.
And it really is swimming against the tide now.
On a start like this. Already up a service break. Again, anything short from Raonic. Might see Isner try to move forward once again.
15-30.
Certainly had a good look at that, didn't he?
And that's not an angry forehand frustration at all. That's, I'm up 4-1, feeling pretty good right here. Sights the ball early.
Absolutely. Could have been curtains. We just slightly quid on that one for being really critical. Easy from here, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's almost like the ball didn't come through what he was expecting. It over the top of it.
Yeah.
Not out of danger yet for the Canadian.
Far from it.
14.
This, to all intents and purposes, a match point.
Yes.
Hasn't been a particularly long match. I mean, you never expect it to be anyway, but just 2 hours and 56 minutes. Last night, of course, we hit the 4-hour mark. I say last night, it was actually this morning.
And once again, the pace of shot from Isner off that forehand wing. Raonic not really picking up the direction down the line.
Yes.
It's about as a pressure-filled bounce smash as you could wish to see. He dealt with it well. He got a lot of slice, didn't he? More control.
I don't think you'd see a better bounce smash than that one, given the circumstances. Isner hunting for that finishing line sooner.
The serve to the forehand, though, is not helping him out, is it? Isner just sitting there, waiting for it. It's a quality return. Can he convert here?
little applause there from coach's box. There was nothing wrong with the way that he played that returner serve.
He has struggled to defend the second in this 5th set. He's only won a quarter of the points behind it.
Advantage, Raonic.
That was a must-win game. And he's found a way to do just that. New balls called for. Both players will.
Isner leads 4 games to 2. Final set.
Isner will certainly look for a new racket. Be the fullest I would have thought this new stadium's been over the course of these championships.
Quick towel off. Let's just see if Isner takes a fresh hat. Not only does he have an abundance of shirts in his bag, there we go. You can see at least 6 caps he takes onto the court. Just leaves them out to dry as he changes ends.
Serving at 4-2. What a magnificent volley.
So how many players, Nick, do you think out there that on the tour that this return would have got by? Probably 98%.
And actually the strength in that situation to control your body. I mean, you know more about anyone about that, Mark, but yeah. I mean, then to have the racket head control at the end of your range. It's a phenomenal shot.
30-love.
Very strong 5th set from Isner, isn't it? Allowed Raonic much at all.
Love.
Sensational serving from the American #1, who moves within a game of reaching the quarterfinals here at the US Open for a second time. He's 5-2 to the good.
Final set. Time.
Sun setting here in New York on a glorious evening. It might be that much more glorious for John Isner. This has been really has been a near perfect fifth set from the number 11 seed here. Raonic serving to stay in the match.
Mr. Isner is showing the ball on the left center service line. The ball was put in.
All right, a chance for Isner here in the second serve.
That's a good hit.
Well, from the moment that the serve came down, the little steps that Isner had to take in order to get out of the way and take the forehand. All about being proactive.
Love 13.
And a nasty little stab at the return. Comes up golden.
Yeah, can't do a lot about that. Rough justice. It's been a dominant fifth set by America's finest. And home interest in the men's singles might be about to be prolonged.
Thank you.
Isner with 3 match points.
15-14.
John Isner is a US Open quarter-finalist for the second time in his career. What a battle that was. He wins the Battle of the Giants in 5 fantastic sets. 6-2 in the decider.
And a beaming John Isner. Saluting the crowd for their support. Had to come out against a very spirited Milos Raonic. Started off like a racehorse in that first set, Raonic. But the door was open early in set number 2, and Isner certainly played very relaxed tennis all the way through sets 2, 3, and 4. It's a comfortable fifth set.
Not to be for the Canadian, but let's hope we see him closer to the top 10 by the end of the season. It's distinctly possible, remember. He's got no points to defend for the rest of the season. So hopefully for him, it'll be onwards and upwards if he can stay healthy. We'll be hearing from Isner momentarily. So what a fine effort that was. Got the early break in the 5th. Made more returns. Was brave, wasn't he, as well?
Yeah, there just seemed to be a bit more willingness that once some of the rallies started to take shape, that when offered a short ball, he was going to be coming forward. Raonic tended to hang back on some of those bigger points.
So the 11th seed makes his way through. We'll be hearing from him very shortly. Marty Fish is standing by to ask the questions.
John, great job. Now, you lost that 4th set. You got off to a great start in the 5th set. What did you tell yourself at the change of ends?
Well, I think it was important that I was serving first in that 5th set, so I was able to hold serve. I just stayed positive. This match had a lot of ups, it had a lot of downs, but the most important part was this crowd kept me in it. It was fantastic, and this atmosphere here it's like a jungle. It was amazing. So thank you.
You've played a lot of matches out here on the old Louis Armstrong, you and I have. Talk about the differences between this stadium now and this crowd, being an American, playing in front of them.
Wow, this is, this is why us tennis players train so hard. This is why I train so hard. To be in a match like this, in front of a crowd like this, and to be able to win, it makes it so special.
You've made your 2nd quarterfinal at the U.S. Open. Play the winner of Juan Martín del Potro and Borna Coric. Tell me about some of the stuff that they present.
Well, they're both excellent players. I've been around forever, so I've played them both a few times, but why not me? So let's keep going.
And lastly, there's one body missing in your box. Your wife, Maddie, she's at home. She's pregnant, 2 weeks away from giving birth to your first child, a baby girl. Is there any way that we can get you to tell us the name? We won't tell anyone, just tell us, reveal the name for us.
I wish I could do that. Maddie would kill me. So we're gonna keep that secret, but yeah, having a kid soon. Maddie, if you're watching, I love you. I'll be back soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, John Isner. Well done.
No name, but there is one name into the quarterfinals, and that, of course, is John Isner. It was a tremendous performance. Any reason he can't go any further, Woody? How do you see him going in the next round?
It certainly can, the way that he's been playing through the tournament here, and obviously discussing about the support that is shown by the American crowd. Certainly very winnable against whoever is there, Coric or Del Potro. Obviously Del Potro in some fine form, and he'll have plenty of support if it is Juan Martín that's there.
Really well. That'll do it from us. Hope you've enjoyed our coverage here from the Louis Armstrong Stadium. Of course, no night session here tonight, so we are done and dusted. From Mark Woodford and myself, Nick Lester, we'll say goodbye for now.